All right, I think this thing is live. Let's hope Facebook comments won't work this time. All right. All right, welcome back everyone to live coverage. A little bit late in the game today, because we have an overnight threat of thunderstorms around the Puget Sound area that we will be tracking live. We're really going to see how long I can go. Let's just say I haven't pulled a late night for a stream in a very long time. So we're going to test the waters. So I don't burn my voice out too prematurely, I've got a lifetime supply of cough drops on me. Perfect. So we're starting things out on radar this time around. Since the sun is going down, we won't have much to work with when it comes to visual satellite imagery. However, we do have these storms forming down here in the Cascades, the west slopes of the northern Oregon Cascades, as well as along the I-5 corridor. Let's get some locations here. West of Salem down to about Sutherland. I think a nice little shortwave impulse came through and ignited this line of showers and embedded storms. You guys can see these have a history of producing lightning east of the I-5 corridor, and they just intensified in that last frame as well. All right, hello there, Cheryl. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back. Hobby farmers tuning in from McKenna Roy area. Let me know if you see any lightning or hear any thunder in the next few minutes. There is some in the vicinity right now. Just refresh Facebook comments. Unfortunately, they're not going to refresh on their own by the looks of it, so I'll have to make sure to remind myself to refresh. But Zoe Lundy is asking, how will Lacey look? Lacey, Washington. Watching out for this cell in particular here near Rainier. This has a history of producing thunder. I have some reports coming in of some thunder being heard near Bucota and Tenino. So this is heading, I think this is more so moving off to the northeast a little bit. No, it's moving almost due north. So you'll be right in the middle of these two developing cells here. We'll have to watch closely to see if anything pops up here as well. This would be the place to look at. Alex Ryder, good evening. Thank you for tuning in. This is what it looks like from the Camino Island radar site. Patico Cat, good evening from Packwood. No thunder yet. Thank you for the heads up. I'd be looking for this cell over central Skamania County for the potential for thunder here over the next 30 minutes or so. 102 viewers on Facebook. Wow, welcome in everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in on such short notice. Glad to have you all in here with me tonight. So this is our main area of interest right here. Looks like a little bit ahead of schedule. We were expecting this activity to really start flaring up around 11 p.m. or midnight tonight, but it looks like it's starting around 8 to 9 p.m., even a little bit sooner for some spots. Anyone hear anything about Buckley? So far, nothing for Buckley, but we are watching some of these showers down here approaching Ording and Prairie Ridge. No lightning yet, no reports of thunder, and it doesn't look too impressive on radar, but we will be watching closely over the next few minutes to see if anything really pops up. Looks like this one down here near Eatonville is looking a little bit more interesting. It has stronger reflectivity. See that orange in there? That means it is a stronger shower. And we're also watching this one over approaching Rainier and Yelm, too. This will move up towards Nisqually and DuPont. We have a developing shower as well over Grand Mound. This is moving basically parallel to I-5 up towards Tumwater and Olympia. You see we just got a new scan there. Don't believe that's a shower. I think that's just some contamination on the radar. Yeah, I think that's radar contamination. So is that, too. Is Tenasket going to get a storm tonight? Well, that's a bit far east from the coverage region, but let's go check on things in eastern Washington. We do have a Special weather statement down here issued by NWS Pendleton for a strong thunderstorm. Expires in 13 minutes, capable of producing a quarter-inch hail and wind gusts to 40 miles per hour. This one is currently... See, it was stronger before when it was over Milton Freewater. This is moving into Walla Walla and Dixie, up towards Waitsburg, and another cell also moving up towards Dayton. So we'll see if the NWS, and I believe this is covered by NWS Pendleton as well. See if they issue any new advisories on this. But overall, up there right now. Sorry, my radar program's being a little finicky. But completely clear around the NWS Spokane area right now. At least at the current moment. Naskett's up in this area, I believe. I believe it's up in Okanagan County. Yeah, you're right there. Not seeing any risk for your area currently. So. Okay, got a couple reports from the Rainier cell that they are now hearing thunder and seeing lightning. So radar scope doesn't show the lightning very well, so I'm going to head over to Weatherbug's site, and as you see, it's picking it up pretty clearly. Hang on, we did not... Okay, we're on the wrong screen. Hang tight. Guess I should have checked this before. Let's go switch the screen, because right now you guys are seeing my Facebook stream, so... just a moment. So capture, we want to make sure we're on this one. There we go. That's better. Okay, yep. So several lightning strikes being detected in Rainier city limits at the moment. And some lightning strikes over the Skookumchuck Reservoir as well. And down towards the north end of Onalaska. So 5 recent strikes being picked up on this cell now. Just north of the town of Rainier. Moving towards the north. To see how... Okay, we have 28 of you guys on YouTube and a whopping 123 of you guys on Facebook. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's probably going to be a busy night tonight. So if you guys have the time to stay tuned in, please feel free. Otherwise, there's no rush at all. It'll refresh Facebook again because they, for some reason, will not automatically refresh comments. So if I miss a comment, I am so sorry about that again. Okay, McKenna-Roy area is now hearing thunder. That checks out. Thank you, Hobby Farmer, for the heads up. Any storms close to Whidbey at the moment? No. So we did have some trying to fire up over Whidbey earlier, but these moved off into the Vancouver lower mainland area and produced several hundred lightning strikes over the lower mainland of BC. But it basically completely missed all of Whidbey Island and the entire Admiralty Inlet Salish Sea area. This round coming in tonight is probably going to be your best bet. And you guys can see all the lightning being produced over in southeastern Washington, northeastern Oregon. And then a lot of activity popping up here near Roseburg, as well as over the Mount Hood area. Just west of Mount Hood in the foothills of the northern Oregon Cascades, west slopes. But for sure, the activity that we're monitoring right now closely is the stuff coming into the South Sound. Okay, I gotta make sure before we get too far into this, I gotta share the live stream to my X and Blue Sky accounts as well. So please hang tight, folks. Yeah, so... Alright, sweet. Thank you, Julie. Let's check to see which Julie this was. This was Julie Olson, aka Julie Rogers. Thank you for your donation on coffee. I appreciate that. That was a little pop-up you guys saw over in the lower right corner. So, lightning being detected just northwest of Yelm now. This is moving off into the Nisqually Indian Reservation at this time. So, If you're around the Nisqually area, be prepared. Okay, so the notification has been posted to most, if not all, of my sites, and I'm looking at Facebook comments as well, and they are pouring in. You check my weather Discord as well. Hang on tight, folks. Okay. I'm going to keep my eyes on the south as well. I got a window off to my right that's looking off to the south. And depending on how close the storm activity gets, you guys may see flashes out the westward looking window behind me as well. This is where I wish I had the live stream cameras set up right now. The outdoor IP cameras. I unfortunately do not have access to that right now, but in the future I do want to potentially do that. So I see a lot of questions coming in, especially on Facebook. See if I can answer some of these real fast. Let's go back to radar real quick and get a quick synopsis of what's going on. Showers are weakening as they move into the Prairie Ridge area. Still a little bit weaker on this cell near Eatonville as well, but we'll watch this for any potential development. The most robust cells for sure are definitely the ones approaching the Nisqually and Tumwater. So this one's producing quite a bit of lightning right now as it moves into the Nisqually community. And then we have plenty of activity behind it coming out of the south as well, moving into Lewis County that we'll have to keep close tabs on. And yeah, we do have a new special weather statement for the city of Dayton for anyone tuning in from Southeast Washington. We have a new special weather statement for that strong storm that is moving up towards Dayton at the moment. West Central Columbia County through 9:15. Wind gusts to 40 miles per hour and pea-sized hail. This includes Dayton, Washington, just east of Waitsburg. And then this advisory down here will be allowed to expire as the cell has left the advisory area. Oh yeah, it's looking really good right now over the west slopes of the North Oregon Cascades. This activity is moving up towards Bonneville, Cascade Locks, Stevenson, and Carson right now. No advisories on this yet, but I do feel like one will be coming here shortly. Okay, people in Tumwater now reporting seeing lightning to the south. It's been a long time since I've seen lightning, so I'm really hoping this holds up as it moves up towards Tacoma. Go see what it looks like from the Langley Hill radar site. No, it's a little bit skewed. I think our best bet's going to be looking at it from the Camino Island radar site. So we'll keep our eyes peeled. These showers don't look too impressive here on radar, but they're elevated. They're well above the ground. So they're probably not producing too much precipitation as well due to that little dry slot where there's not much moisture between the mid-levels of the troposphere, the lowest level of Earth's atmosphere where weather occurs, and the surface. There's not too much moisture. As you can see, the temperature and dew point spreads here are 15 to 20 degrees based on which site you're looking at. So we're 62 over 47 in Olympia, 67 over 47 here at Gray Army Airfield. So we don't have much low-level moisture to work with. That's why this is going to be more of an overnight storm threat. They're more elevated, and solar heating in this case doesn't really matter. It's pretty much neglected in this case. You guys notice we cooled off a lot and the wind picked up. That was our marine push. The marine push, when the storms are elevated above the ground like this, does not affect their strength. So it's more based on upper level instability. So let's go through some comments real quick. Thunder lightning east of Olympia. Thank you, ETG, for the report. Kara's asking, is this headed towards South Hill, Puyallup? Potentially, yes. This round is looking a little bit sloppy, but watching all of the activity mainly west of Lakewood and Tacoma right now closely. I'm in this area of Tacoma here. So Going to be watching this cell very closely as it moves up. It'll likely just scrape off to the west. So I'm looking out my southward window right now to see if I see any distant flashes. Not at the moment. I feel like that'll probably be changing soon. The cells are looking a bit better too. Looks like round 2 for Rainier may be coming up here shortly. Let's go look at Lightning one more time. And this is a composite of the last 30 minutes, by the way. So some of this could be old Lightning that'll fall off the map here in a few minutes. But still seeing quite a bit of lightning directly over Highway 510 right now. Between Lacey and Yelm. This is moving towards Nisqually and the western portion of JBLM. Brian Rock Rail fan, welcome in, sir. Thank you for tuning in. I see a lot of comments coming in on Facebook. Not really able to keep up because unfortunately Facebook stopped doing the auto refresh. Really, really dumbfounded by that decision. Thank you, Debbie Peck, for your donation of 200 stars. Thank you, Rebecca Roca. Sorry if I said your last name wrong. Thank you for your donation of 99 stars on Facebook. So let's see, Whatcom County right now, nothing to talk about. Not yet, at least. There's a chance that these showers and thunderstorms could make it that far north. We'll take a look at some models too as well. This is probably going to be, yeah, this is a really old model. So let's look at the newest RRFS experimental model and see what this shows for activity tonight. We could be tracking some stronger showers of possible thunderstorms at around midnight near Bellingham. Just a heads up. Bellingham, San Juan Island area, we'll be watching that closely. This model does have a bias of over-convecting, which basically means it shows the showers a bit too strong compared to what we normally see in real time. So these could be heavier showers, possible thunderstorms, but maybe not as strong as this is showing. This has most of the activity hanging out over the foothills and the higher elevations tonight. But let's go to current time, which is around 9 p.m. And this is severely underdoing it. So yeah, this model's already kind of a bust. Go check out what the NAM is showing. NAM's doing a better job at showing it. And this would be a good sign for overnight showers and thunderstorms. This goes all the way out to about 6 p.m. tomorrow or so. And it looks like the next round of precipitation will be Thursday afternoon. So we may get a brief reprieve Wednesday night and Thursday morning from any shower and storm activity. Chances look pretty good that the Tacoma area will get some heavy showers and possible thunderstorms in the next hour. This is 10 p.m. here on the NAM 3KM model. You see it picks up on this activity down here in northern Oregon as well. So far, the NAM's been doing a pretty darn good job of showing this activity tonight. I think the NAM is one of the winners here, at least so far. I heard some rumbles. All right, again, sorry folks on Facebook. All right, current time is 9:01 p.m. Pacific Daylight. Temps dropped dramatically near JBLM. Yep, that's a good sign that something's coming. Tacoma area, yes, be on standby. There's lightning just southwest of Tacoma. Snohomish Valley. We'll be watching this activity as it moves into the mountains and possibly into the foothills tonight and early tomorrow morning. So stay tuned. I'll provide updates as I get them. Yelm is a real little rumbly. Thank you for the heads up on that. Clouds in Puyallup looking ugly. Yeah, before the sun completely went down, I was seeing some pretty dark clouds to the south with this elevated activity moving in. Alright, thunderstorm's going to make it the Federal Way. Entirely possible. I do believe that these will make it the Federal Way. If not thunderstorms, then at least in the form of heavier showers. Just keeping my eyes peeled on radar right now. Let's see. outside of this one cell, moving up into DuPont right now, about to move over Chambers Bay, Steilacoom, University Place area, up towards Fox Island, Anderson Island, and McNeil Island. This is still the most impressive looking cell by far, but it's not producing any lightning anymore at the moment. It stopped producing lightning right around the Highway 510 corridor between Lacey and Yelm. But all of this activity is still moving almost due north. See, so we're watching the showers over King and Pierce counties right now. We're watching this shower moving towards Allen and Grapeview, currently over Olympia, but not producing lightning. And remember, folks, the models don't show this activity really slowing down until sunrise tomorrow morning. Keith, welcome in. Jessica, thunder, lightning, and Rainier now. Thank you for the heads up once more. So I'm guessing this cell down here is about to move over you guys again. So round 2 likely coming up for Rainier and areas that were in the wake of this other cell that just moved through. Sarah says Thunder and Grand Mound. Thank you, Sarah, for the heads up. I appreciate that. Yeah, this cell looks more impressive on the Langley Hill radar site, but this is likely where you're hearing the thunder from. Right here. And this also, again, is moving up towards the Rainier area, so heads up, folks. It's not over yet if you're in Rainier. Trina, thank you so much again for tuning in. Patty says, here in Enumclaw waiting for the action. Really hope you get lucky tonight. Could use a really good spring storm around this area. Okay, new special weather statement here in Eastern Washington as well. I know we have some people watching from this area down here, because I've seen a few reports. Do have a new special weather statement for Waitsburg and Starbuck over the next 25 minutes. So this is until 9:30 p.m. 1/4-inch diameter hail and wind gusts to 40 miles per hour possible for this storm moving between Waitsburg and Prescott right now, off towards the north-northeast. Julian is waiting for it in Lakewood. Again, I hope you luck out tonight. I really hope a lot of people get lucky. This is by far now the most impressive looking cell moving up almost directly towards Rainier. This will follow the same path as the cell that just went through Rainier and Nisqually too. Are we going to get it in Enumclaw? I can't be for sure. So to answer a lot of the location-based questions, I can't say for sure whether or not you will get a storm tonight. It's a broad area, and the chances that this broad area will get at least one storm. So specifics would be unwise for me to get into. I'm just saying model guidance right now shows the most favorable area for thunderstorms tonight is going to be along the Cascade Crest and along the Cascade Foothills. So Cascade Foothills here from, I'd say, Lewis County up towards Snohomish County, this is going to be the prime time zone for your storm activity overnight, according to models. Again, if it's anything like the NAM model that we saw, let me pull this up again. If it's anything like this, then the Tacoma area could be getting heavy showers and possible thunderstorms in the next hour or less. This shows activity moving off into the foothills as well. This should be a pretty gnarly looking complex here over the mountains and over the Greenwater area at around 1 a.m. And it shows a continuous chance of some showers and embedded isolated thunderstorms moving up as we go into 5 a.m. and potentially even 6 a.m. tomorrow. Then it just kind of turns into slop. So this model by far has been doing the best job of showing this activity. But even this one has its weaknesses. It wasn't picking up very well on this cell moving up towards Nisqually. It's doing good on the cell down here, but not on that little cell that we just saw bring lightning up through the Rainier area prior, like in the last half hour or so. Oh, look at that. We got lightning now being detected over Maple Valley. Several new lightning strikes here in Maple Valley. Let's go look at the radar real quick. Do we have anyone in Maple Valley that can attest to that? Like, the cell looks absolutely pathetic here on the radar site. But remember, these are elevated showers, so radar is not really going to tell the full story. It looks a little bit better on the Langley Hill radar site, but this has produced lightning over the Maple Valley Hobart area in the last 5 or so minutes. Maple Valley, I did hear a rumble of thunder. Thank you, Brett, for the heads up. What about Vancouver, Washington? Let's go look south again because we still have this storm activity moving in right now. It doesn't look as strong as it did in previous frames. Let's zoom out and look at this a little closer. See if we can get the animation going here. See, it looked a little more impressive. This was around 8:04, so it looked a bit more impressive an hour ago. Several showers and thunderstorms here to your east. And we do still have showers and some thunderstorms forming in the foothills of, I believe this is Clackamas and Marion counties here in western Oregon. So your best bet for any more storm activity over Vancouver is going to be anything that forms down here and moves north overnight. But some of this shower activity looks pretty good on the Portland radar over northern Skamania counties and southern Thurston counties. But I do still want to highlight that if you're in Rainier and points north, do be on the lookout for thunder, lightning, and potential small hail over the next half hour or so, as this little developing cell passes to the north of your area. Okay, this cell looks a little better here on the Camino Island radar now, but this has produced lightning in the Maple Valley Hobart vicinity. It does have a history of producing lightning now. Okay, Ashley says, just had some thunder in Maple Valley. Thank you for the heads up. Hello, Kim Leonard. Thank you for tuning in. When do winds start in central Washington? That wind advisory, let's go check on that real quick. Do we have any more new lightning strikes up there? Bad time for the site to start lagging. Okay, so no new lightning down here as far as I can see, but we do have lightning from that cell just south of Rainier right now in the vicinity. So let's go look at the hazard site and let's go check on these wind advisory. This is in effect from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. tomorrow. So winds are expected to pick up around the Central Columbia Basin as soon as sunrise tomorrow morning. And then there's some localized high wind warnings for the same duration as well, 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. So anywhere in this tan-colored polygon here, which is from about Cle Elum down eastward, so Cle Elum, Wenatchee, and surrounding areas. List off some cities in this real quick. We have Chelan, Chelan Falls, Entiat, Cooley Dam, Elmer City, Electric City. Waterville is included in this. Farmer is included in this. Rock Island, Trinidad. George, Quincy, Ephrata, just to name a few cities here in this wind advisory. Violet Rose, oh boy. Are we going to get at all in Enumclaw? Again, sorry if I cannot answer your questions in time. I heavily apologize. There's a lot of traffic right now. I've got about 146 total streamers across all platforms. So, a lot of questions to answer at the moment. So if I miss a question, again, sorry about that. But Violet, Enumclaw, you do have a chance. Yes, for sure. We did have this cell pop up to your north, but there are additional chances for Enumclaw in vicinity tonight. Again, I can't be too exact. I'm going to be pretty vague on answering these questions because the reality is we really don't know. But Enumclaw, you have a pretty good chance of getting at least some small hail with this cell moving up north towards you right now. This is just east of Wilkeson and Carbonado, moving up towards Buckley and Enumclaw. No lightning reports as of yet, but it does have the potential as we go into the next half-hour period or so. This cell looks a little bit more intense as it moves into Hobart and Miramont right now. This is going to likely cross I-90 between Issaquah and Preston and move up towards Carnation and Duval. So heads up to you guys. If you're due north of this cell, watch out. This is moving this direction approximately. You know what time? Yeah, based on the speed that these cells are moving right now, this will be in your area in the next 20 to 30 minutes. So this is moving up towards Enumclaw, Black Diamond, and Ravensdale right now. It's not doing too much on the radar at the moment, but we'll be watching the lightning detector pretty closely. This cell is actually just to my southwest. And I have not been paying attention to what's been going on out the window. But I haven't seen any lightning flashes out the corner of my eye. Raindrops are trying and wind is picking up a little in Lakewood. No flashes or rumbles as of yet. Thank you for your report. I appreciate that. Let's go refresh Facebook again. A lot of Facebook comments coming in and it's not automatically refreshing, so bear with me on that, folks. Facebook's not doing me any favors. What about Kent? Yeah, someone said Kent is good. Might hear some booms though. Yeah, I agree with that. Right now, we're watching any of this stuff popping up down here over the South Washington Cascade foothills. This is what's going to be moving up towards the central Puget Sound area tonight. Anything that pops up over in this corridor right here is probably going to stay west of Tacoma and Seattle, but there's a chance that some of these could expand eastward a little bit and possibly clip Tacoma, Seattle, and Everett over the next few hours. Facebook says no. Well, as we know with events of this nature, it's nowcasting time. So models don't do great when we're nowcasting. That means we're literally just staring at radar and watching what happens in real time and making our short-term forecast based off of what we see here on the radar site. So the situation is quite fluid right now. Keith has been busy making PowerPoints. What radar app am I using? I'm using Radar Scope here on PC. The cell's looking a little bit stronger as it moves off into Miramont, but no new lightning strikes in the last few minutes. This is moving into Miramont, and then again we'll cross I-90 between Issaquah and Preston, and it'll move off towards Ames Lake and Duval. This Courtney Olivia, thank you for tuning in. Is Gig Harbor in the range of the storms tonight? Yes, this cell here actually on your doorstep does have a history of producing thunder and lightning down near Rainier earlier, but no new lightning strikes have been detected as of the last 20 to 25 minutes or so. And this cell approaching Enumclaw is looking a little bit more potent here on radar as well. You see the orange? That's stronger areas of reflectivity. So wouldn't be surprised, maybe we hear a little thunder, or if you're lucky, see a couple flashes of lightning from this as it moves off north. So this is about to come directly into Enumclaw and Buckley. And then this cell that was additionally producing some lightning and thunder earlier, just south of Rainier, is currently parked on top of Rainier and Yelm. And this cell down here is looking really good too. This is moving up towards US 12 between Randall and Packwood right now. So you may hear thunder in Packwood and Randall and surrounding communities here very shortly. So this is just an overview of what's going on right now. This is our main corridor of weather that we're watching. Are we going to lose power with this? Unlikely. The only reason you'd really lose power is if you sustain a lightning strike or you get any gusty outflow winds from these storms. Saw some lightning in Maple Valley a few minutes ago. Someone asked, how is Bonnie Lake looking? Bonney Lake's looking okay right now. If we do get any thunder from this, you're close enough to hear it. Other than that, the shower activity will be moving into your area here in the next hour to hour and a half, but it's looking pretty sloppy. It doesn't look like it's capable of producing thunder and lightning at the moment, just moderate to heavy rain showers. It's the more discrete, stronger looking cells that we're paying attention to, and I'll circle them here. So these are my 5 areas of interest right now. Up here near Hobart, Artendale, Rainier, Buckley, and Randall. Cheryl, I wouldn't say expect flash floods. The likelihood of flash flooding is pretty minimal at the moment. Someone asked, how about Bremerton? I'm watching this area here closely because this cell had a history previously of producing thunder and lightning. Not in the last 25 minutes or so, but this is going to be moving up towards your area. And until it completely fizzles out, the chance of thunder and lightning will remain. Do have a new blip forming over Ravensdale as well. And this is going to be following the path of this cell that just went through. So this is moving up towards Hobart and Preston. And then this one down here over Enumclaw will follow almost the exact same path. Let's see how this one looks on the Portland radar. I haven't checked in on the Portland radar in some time. And we still have some cells firing off. Looks like this line down here along the I-5 corridor is trying to get a little bit more organized again. It's trying its best to, but it's having a little trouble. It might be running into some stable air. Hey, Ben, welcome into the chat. Washington Weather Chasers is in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in, Ben. Assuming this is Ben and not Jonathan. Everyone on YouTube, let's give a warm welcome to Ben at WADWX Chasers. Let's refresh Facebook again. A lot of comments coming in. Do you think any more will affect Olympia? Let's go back to the Portland radar real quick. I'd say if we can get anything up here to get its act together tonight, then that will be the best chance of bringing any storm activity to Olympia. Yep, it's Ben here. All right, sweet. Long time no see, Ben. Multiple strikes seen from Pierce County, Thurston County. See a lot of comments coming in. And yeah, my Lightning app is going berserk right now on the phone. Looks like, yeah, the only lightning being detected in the last 15 minutes here in Western Washington is just northeast of Mount St. Helens, approaching Randall and Packwood. So this cell right now, let's go back to the Camino Island radar site. It appears that this... Okay, heard thunder in Enumclaw. Perfect. So it appears that this general cluster down here is the only area currently producing lightning, but that may have just changed. We do have thunder reports with this cell directly over Enumclaw now. Thank you, Patty, for the report on YouTube. Appreciate that. Everyone on Facebook also says, welcome, Ben. Someone said, welcome, Cliff. I don't think Ben, or I don't think Cliff follows my page, to be honest. You know, Cliff's been doing a lot of ratting out on the amateur pages, which I will admit I am one. So I don't think Cliff is overly fond of the content that I have to post. Okay, so Ben shared on Facebook. Awesome. Thank you so much. Starting to rain in Enumclaw. How about Snohomish, Linwood? Yeah, anything that forms down here and gets its act going, this is going to be your best shot for the time being. If anything down here starts to get a little bit more organized, this is also going to move up towards your area as the night progresses. So I'd say the area that I have highlighted right now, this is going to be your best shot. We do have kind of a little cluster forming here too. You see I draw along this line here. We have about 6 individual little popcorn cells along that line. And since they're pretty much due north to south, I mean, some areas are likely going to be getting hit 3, maybe 4 times with at least showers. You can't make any guarantees on thunderstorms, but at least showers. And new little pop-up blip here near Discovery Park, Magnolia area here in northwest Seattle. This is going to be moving towards Shoreline, Edmonds, Mount Lake Terrace, and up towards Linwood and Mukilteo, possibly. See, that formed as a little blip out near Alki Point and looks a little bit more intense in the new scan. So this is currently moving again up towards Shoreline, Edmonds, and Linwood. Wind picking up as I speak in Puyallup. Someone just sent me a DM over on Facebook. All right, go refresh Facebook one more time. Lots of wind in Shelton. Thank you, Talisha, for the heads up. Cloudy here in Bellingham. Thank you, Keith. What about Blaine and Birch Bay? Any shower and storm activity is going to take a while to get up there. And you see a lot of this activity that just popped up here. This is not shower related. This is what I like to call radar noise. So this could be birds, this could be bugs, this could be foreign contaminants in the atmosphere, we don't know. But the little blips here, these are the ones that we're paying attention to. See, all of these little blips. All of these blips. We're not going to worry about that. Because that's not rain. That is radar contamination. Lovely cool breezes coming through Capitol Hill now. Thank you, LK Ghost. And looks like Sonia is in the chat. Hello, Sonia. Blake Stevens going to get any lightning? I can't make any guarantees about lightning, but heavier showers certainly possible. Looks like anything that gets its act together between really between these two cell corridors right now. If anything gets its act together down here and moves up towards your area, then that's going to be the area to watch for Lake Stevens. It's based on storm direction right now. These are moving almost due north. And Lake Stevens is right up in here. I think these are probably going to miss you just to your east. And these are going to miss you well to the west. So we'll have to see if anything develops here and then moves up towards your direction. Terrain, yes, you're right, Keith. Terrain could also make those echoes. Cell's trying to get its act together again near Gig Harbor and Artendale. This is moving up towards Purdy, Bethel, Olalla, and Burley. Here in northwestern Pierce and southern Kitsap counties. So this could produce small hail. This could also produce some locally gusty outflow winds. You just have to keep track, and let's go follow up with lightning again. A lot of the lightning strikes are beginning to fall off the map, which means no new strikes in the last half hour. We do have lightning now occurring over US 12 between Randall and Packwood, however, with more lightning behind that as well. So you're likely hearing thunder around Packwood and around Randall at the moment. These are going to be moving up towards Mount Rainier. So if you know anyone around the national area here in the Nisqually entrance, tell them that lightning is likely on the way. It's a little hard to tell. I think this is new too. We might have just gotten a new pop-up storm just south of Rainier again. Gonna have to switch radars here to see. Yeah, this complex looks a little more impressive on the coastal radar site. This is not precipitation. This is the wind farm. That's up near the Skookumchuck Reservoir. I'd say right now the best shot of getting any new lightning strikes in the area of Rainier is going to be from this cell right down here. That's looking really good on the Portland radar site right now. And then we'll be watching closely as these cells cross into Skamania County through Stevenson, Carson, and areas west as well, because these cells are going to be moving up along the Cascade foothills tonight. So these have their eyes set again on the Randall-Packwood area, as well as Greenwater and possibly I-90 east of North Bend. Just S, hello, thank you for tuning in. Report of rain in Buckley, thank you for the heads up. Any storms for Redmond? Anything that gets its act together down here will give you a storm threat tonight. I wish I were live streaming on TikTok right now, but I bet TikTok's going to be hectic. Should we fire up the stream? I think I'm feeling a little risky tonight. My ADHD is already going bonkers as it is. Let's just add another source of social media. How far north is this moving? This will move as far north as the instability axis allows it to, which right now looks like it could move as far north as Island County, Skagit County, and potentially Whatcom County. F3 tag says cells are firing up North Seattle Metro. You would be correct. They're struggling a little bit. The air mass may be a little bit too stable aloft right now, but they're trying to. They're little tiny showers right now. This one's just south of Northgate, and then this one is just southwest of Shoreline right now. These are moving north, again, towards Edmonds, Linwood, and surrounding areas. A pretty disorganized shower complex here over LB, Ashford, and Eatonville right now. I think due to how disorganized it is, the threat of lightning and thunder from this is going to be low at the moment. I'm more concerned about the more discreet showers down here. Only if you do some TikTok dances while you do this, says Ben. I'm going to respectfully pass. No, I'm not that cringe, trust me. We did just get a new cell pop up almost directly over Bremerton. Look. This was 5 minutes ago. This is right now. Look at how quickly that popped up. Practically right on top of Bremerton. This cell's moving over Tracyton and may just skirt Silverdale to the east. This is moving up towards Paulsbo and later Port Gamble. So if this really gets its act going, then watch out. Lightning possible. Hey guys, just to make things go faster and smoother, I'm not going to precisely answer any location questions. I see you guys absolutely blowing it up on Facebook, and there's 126 of you guys watching right now, which is amazing. So once again, I won't be able to answer all of your questions. I'm very, very sorry, but I'll answer as many as possible. I'm just going over a broad coverage area right now because going into the specifics would be very unwise. As we know with past thunderstorm events, a lot of areas get missed out on, but some areas get lucky. And the models don't always do a great job of showing this. So just my little disclaimer for the coverage tonight. If you ask a location-based question and I don't answer it, my apologies, but it's just to make the stream move faster and just keep the flow up because I'm one person doing all of this coverage. And all the behind the scenes work, all the live streaming, I'm streaming on 2 platforms and about to probably start on the 3rd as well. Keith says, if you want, I can help you if you want. Yeah, Keith, if you can hop over on Facebook and start answering people's questions, I mean, I would really appreciate that. Because right now, YouTube's chat is manageable. It's Facebook that's going off the rails. Debbie Frost, thank you for tuning in. Like Ben asked, is lightning going to strike at my exact address in Lake Stevens? Please tell me exactly what time so I can set an alarm. Insert sarcasm. That's the way to do it. Are those little cells to the left producing lightning? If you're talking about anything down here, I don't believe so in the last 10 minutes or so. Not seeing any new lightning strikes north of the US 12 corridor yet either, so. These lightning strikes up near Maple Valley, those are old. Those are going to vanish off the map soon. Those are about 20 minutes old. Sonia is going to restart her phone. That is all good. We have pretty dense moderator coverage tonight on YouTube, so that is A-okay. Looking to the north, we don't have anything to the north right now. All of the activity over the lower mainland has vanished for the moment. We're still picking up lots of lightning strikes over the foothills of the West Slopes North Oregon Cascades as this moves towards the Columbia River. This Courtney Olivia says, interesting. Yes, very much so. I just wish that the WeatherBug lightning detector had a good indicator of how recent the lightning strikes were. Maybe we can pull it up on Windy. Since I have a tab for Windy open, this may be able to show it a little bit better. But, you know, for the heck of it, let's just look at satellite real quick while we have a moment. This is our upper level low. Pretty strong negative tilt on it, so it's got a northwest to southeast orientation. This gives it extra kick. Basically extra chances of thunderstorms, you know, added lift, added instability, you name it. It's dragging in some subtropical moisture off the Pacific. So we have the ingredients for thunderstorms. It's just, can we get them all to line up at the same time tonight? And no, Windy's not going to show it really well either. But you see a lot of these high and mid-level clouds here. This is very elevated activity. That's why we're getting the storms even when there's no sunlight, because it's not surface-based. It's not pulling in warm air from the ground. And Facebook's comment section. Wish Facebook was auto-refreshing, but it's not. It hasn't been for the last few streams. That is the $1,000,000 question, like Keith said. Yeah. I'm just gonna watch closely and see if anything pops up north of US 12 or anywhere within this. I think this is a 30-mile radius. Let's go back and look at radar. It's been a little bit. Yeah, this blip's looking pretty good near Silverdale now. Someone said thunder was loud in Glenoma. Yeah, pretty nice looking cell just east of Silverdale right now, moving north towards Paulsbo. And some new development also in the Seebeck area. This is going to be crossing over the Hood Canal up towards the Port Ludlow area if it gets its act together and holds its act together. We have some development over Bainbridge as well. Not overly strong in nature right now. And these showers attempted to get going near Shoreline and Edmonds, but it looks like they're not going to at the moment. Nice try, though. Valiant effort. Maple Valley strikes are gone for me on WeatherBug. Yeah, same here. And then these strikes down here near Rainier are going to vanish here very soon, too. So the lightning activities ceased a bit over the last 20 minutes. Over the last 15 to 20 minutes or so. Are these storms going to be more western, northern, southern, or just all over? It's going to be very widespread. These are the more hit or miss nature that we're used to. You know, garden variety. Check out the Portland radar cell crossing of Columbia by the locks. Yeah, if it looks that good on the Seattle radar, I'm going to get blown away by the Portland radar. Oh yeah, that thing is juicy. Moving into Stevenson and Carson right now. Nice, juicy looking cell producing quite a bit of lightning as it crosses over the Cascade locks. There's more forming behind that too, where we have some more activity forming on the border of Clackamas and Marion counties here in Oregon. This is going to be moving up north towards Estacada, Sandy, Boring, and Troutdale potentially, before it likely crosses the Columbia somewhere around Camas and Washougal. But will these hold together as they move up north? That is the million-dollar question. And see, we're still getting these cells forming over the Cascade Crest. This shortwave impulse is really doing us some favors tonight. It looks like we have a new weather advisory as well, issued by, I think this is going into Spokane's vicinity now. Judging by the contour of this alert, I'd say that this is now crossing into NWS Spokane limits. So over the next 36 minutes, hail up to 1/4 inch in diameter and wind gusts to 40 miles per hour possible, moving into La Crosse, moving up towards St. John and Rosalia possibly, here in Eastern Washington, for any of us Eastern Washington viewers tuning in. Jeez, I'm so hyper focused I didn't even start the TikTok live stream. You know what? Honestly, I'm just not even going to worry about TikTok tonight. I'm going to focus completely on Facebook and YouTube. TikTok can wait till another day. Okay, Chambers Bay area, another cell crossing, and then another cell right behind that as well. We also have a cell popping up over Auburn and Lee Hill as well. This is going to be moving up towards Kent, East Hill, and Renton. So Kent area, watch out for this. There's right now, I'd say a small to medium chance of thunder or lightning with this. And someone talked about the blob near Rainier as well. Big yellow blob over Rainier area. Are you talking about the one to the north or to the south? If you're talking about this yellow blob here, I have low to medium confidence that this will sustain. Low to medium. Jeanette Howard, probably for the best to medicate. Just in case. Just in case. Even if it doesn't happen. Yeah, this is by far the most robust looking cell in Washington at the moment. This one directly over Carson. And this one's getting its act together too. Just east of Detroit. Probably hearing some pretty good thunder in Detroit, Oregon right now. Sumner, Puyallup area, yeah. This area right here, pretty sloppy, so I feel like the chance of lightning and thunder right now is low. But I'm still keeping an eye on the more discreet looking showers. The ones that have access to clean inflow. You know, not trying to congeal and force themselves into a blob or a line like this one. So these little individual cells popping up, these ones again are going to have the best chance of thunder and lightning over the short term. All right, Keith. Keith is going to get going. Sounds good. Have a great night, sir. There's a small chance we could get some thunder and lightning out of this complex from Eatonville up to Carbonado, but I'm not liking the slop factor on radar at the moment. Real Sandwich says, rain starting in Kent. Thank you for the report. What about Whidbey Island? These cells moving up in Kitsap County, these are going to be your best bet in the short term as these move up towards your area. So watch the radar closely to your south because we do have some shower development moving up towards Whidbey and Camino Islands right now. So this is your area of interest. Oh, we have 64 people on YouTube and 109 people on Facebook. So the stream's doing really well. Thank you guys for continuing to share. Appreciate all the new follows and the reactions. Also to our donators as well. Thank you to everyone who has sent stars on Facebook. And thank you, Julie Olson, for your coffee donation as well. We have a little bit of time as these lightning strikes fall off the map. We have a little brief reprieve from the lightning. I will go over the best way to help support and donate Puget Sound to Puget Sound Stormwatch, and that is through coffee.com/Puget Sound Stormwatch. So thank you to, this is Julie Olson, but thank you for your donation, and I will copy and paste this in the YouTube and Facebook chats. And they will be pinned. I think I may set an alarm for midnight and get a couple of hours of sleep. Good job, Anthony. Keep it up. Thank you, Ben. Take care if I don't see you again. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for the share on Facebook. But the lightning activity, pretty sporadic over the last half hour. Nothing new in the SeaTac Metro right now. These are all old, and these are going to fall off the map. But nothing new in the SeaTac Metro at the moment. But that could change here very shortly. Thank you for providing this awesome coverage. Sure thing. Glad to be here for you guys. Heat today might bring some fuel. Since this is more of an elevated setup, the heat today is pretty much negligible. Basically, that means the convection is taking place well above the ground level. It's not surface-based. If it was surface-based, then the daytime heating would matter a lot more. Mount Vernon going to get anything? Entirely possible. We'll watch this complex as it moves up north towards Skagit County. But now the showers are having a little bit of trouble. I think the air is stabilizing a bit too quick. So those heavier showers that came through earlier in the day might have eaten up a little bit of the instability before this shower activity came in. And these showers right now could be eating through what's left of that instability, not allowing much recovery time before the bulk of activity is expected over the next few hours or so. So I do have concerns about over-convection possibly, which could limit our lightning and thunder chances overnight for a lot of the area. Any updates on the East Hill storm? Well, I wouldn't even call this a storm at the moment, but this moderate-sized showers moving into East Hill right now. East Hill, Lake Meridian area up towards Fairwood, the East Renton Highlands, Renton, and Newcastle. This is moving up towards you guys right now. So this will be in East Hill in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I think this blob here may be trying to get a little more organized, so we'll keep our eyes peeled on this one as well. This is moving again up towards Enumclaw, Black Diamond, Ravensdale, and surrounding communities. Heard a notification. What was that? Someone a minute ago said, just heard rumbling in Puyallup. Do I have anyone in Puyallup that can attest to that? Anyone in the Puyallup area hear thunder in the last few minutes? Go ahead and let me know, please and thanks. Wondering about Shelton. Right now, the activity is too far east of Shelton. Cheney. Let's see here, because I'm keeping eyes on this storm here in eastern Washington as well. This cell's kind of losing its strength, but this is moving towards the Cheney area at the moment. This is currently moving into La Crosse in Whitman County. So Cheney area, you have probably about 2 hours before this makes it into your area, if it holds up. Just a heads up to us eastern Washington folks who are tuning in. Currently, the only weather advisory is for this cell in, I'd like to say this is Columbia and Whitman counties. Let me verify that real quick. Okay, it's Garfield. I think that's Garfield. Yeah, it doesn't show the counties, only the zones. Oh, never mind. I'm looking straight at it. Southeastern Adams, Northwestern Garfield, and Central Whitman. Wind's starting to pick up a little in Seattle now. I appreciate you guys' feedback. It makes this live stream coverage much easier to process. Especially since I don't stay up this late very often anymore. So we're going to continue as long as possible. As long as my body is able to continue. Think Federal Way will get anything later tonight, early morning tomorrow. I have low to medium confidence that Federal Way will get thunderstorms tonight into tomorrow. As these showers are really beginning to struggle. I think it's because they're moving in the more stable air. The air mass over us right now is not looking as unstable as it was earlier. Ooh, these cells are looking really good down here in Oregon now. This one just northeast of Detroit. This little cluster here. NWS Portland should be putting an advisory out any minute for these. If they maintain the strength, I feel like they'll put, at the very least, an advisory. But I doubt that there will be any severe thunderstorm warnings tonight. Because the Storm Prediction Center does not have any severe weather highlighted for this area. Only a general thunderstorm risk. Let me pull that up as well. Day 1 outlook. As you guys can see, the day 1 outlook, it may be a little bit hard to see, but that is a general non-severe thunderstorm risk as seen down here. Level 0 out of 5. I do have the Pacific Northwest highlighted in the discussion though. As a vigorous mid-level trough approaches the Pacific Northwest this evening, it will take on an increasingly negative tilt. That northwest to southeast trough axis. Strong deep layer ascent and increasing mid-level moisture should be sufficient for at least a couple of isolated thunderstorms to develop. Although forecast soundings indicate a dry subcloud layer beneath mid-level instability and strong tropospheric flow, the overall thunderstorm coverage should remain too low or unconditional wind probabilities to be introduced. So, not even a marginal chance of severe weather. It looks way too conditional. Just to sort of sum up a little TLDR of what they were saying. It looks far too conditional for any severe threat. Wind picking up in Redmond. Thank you, Jake Singer, for your reports. Tyler Milligan is asking for Everett. Everett area, looks like anything that forms over here is going to give you the best shot. But right now it's running into, looks like, more stable air aloft, which is not what you want to see for storm activity. Started the stream right around this point, I think. And now we're up to here. So right now it's just looking like locally heavy showers. Potentially a chance of maybe a thunderclap or a lightning flash if you're lucky, but it's most likely raining anywhere underneath the yellow and the orange right now. So really anywhere in this blob, it's likely raining. Super quiet Gig Harbor, but I suppose the night is still young. Nothing special to write home about in Graham. Thank you for the follow-up response on that. Melatonin kicking in. Sounds good, Kim. Have a great night. Windy all day in Federal Way. Yeah, that was this very strong marine push that came in. That's what's going to cool us off up to 20, maybe even 25 degrees for some areas tomorrow. It's going to be a cool and rainy day, most likely. And we'll be talking about winds as well. There's a chance we could get some onshore winds, potentially with gusts upwards of 35 to 40 miles per hour for spots tomorrow afternoon. As the flow shifts from southerly to westerly. This upper level trough is going to swing through. It's going to change the wind direction, and it's going to kick up the wind quite a bit. I want to show you guys what I mean real fast before I forget. Go through the most recent NAM, switch to wind gusts. It doesn't look super impressive on the NAM, but could get a pretty decent westerly surge tomorrow afternoon and evening up here along the Strait of Juan de Fuca and the Sailor Sea, and some wind gusts 30 plus miles per hour possible for the Central and South Sound tomorrow afternoon as that system passes through. Nothing overly impressive, but we do have foliage on trees, bushes, etc. right now. And if we get any heavy rain overnight with these showers and thunderstorms, it could add the extra soaking to the soil that we need to bring some trees down in spots, even with wind gusts of only 30 miles per hour. So, just something to keep track of closely. Latest 0Z HERS a little stronger, but still really nothing to run home about. 37 miles per hour with new foliage on, trees and bushes and all of that. That could cause issues, potentially, but I'm not going to really highlight that as a huge risk. Just kind of a precautionary measure. See what the European says, the grandfather of all models. The European is sniffing something out. It has been sniffing something out the last few runs. It's been picking up on some stronger wind gusts around the Central and South Sound. And it's only increased the last few runs too. It has Seattle getting up to 43 miles per hour between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. tomorrow. And Tacoma upwards of around 35 to 40 miles per hour. So something we'll have to watch closely with tomorrow morning's model runs. And if that's the case, we may have another live stream tomorrow too, just talking about the wind. Just be on standby for that too. Okay, I see a brand new lightning strike over Mount Rainier. Yeah, this area of showers right here looks like we got just enough orographic lift, which is, to sum it up, it's lift caused by a geological body, for example, a mountain. So lift caused by mountain ranges or a mountain. So we got just enough of a burst of energy from lift created by Mount Rainier to get a couple of lightning strikes out of this little cell, which does not look impressive on the Camino Island radar. Interesting enough, the Portland radar shows this shower looking more impressive as it moves into Ording. But the Langley Hill and the Camino Island radar sites make it look pretty lethargic in nature. So I can't count out the possibility that we could get maybe a one-hit wonder lightning strike and or thunderclap with this as it moves into Ording, Prairie Ridge, and Bonnie Lake. So just keep your eyes peeled if you're in these areas and look south. Olympia, anything expected? Right now, the activity is staying east of Olympia. There's, it looks like new lightning strikes popping up down here in the Willamette Valley. I don't know why the NWS in Portland has not put out any advisories for these showers yet, these storms, because these are looking really good on radar. This is around 60 DVZ, which is, yeah, 60 DVZ, which is really strong. That could be producing some pretty decent sized hail and maybe some downburst winds as well ahead of this. And this cell that moved through Carson earlier is still keeping its act together as it moves into more rigorous terrain. This is going to be tracking north up towards Packwood. So if this keeps its act together, watch out Packwood area. This is moving almost directly towards you. This is a rough estimate. My hand's a little jittery tonight, so it's not going to be perfect, but this is the approximate track of that cell. So it'll also probably move towards Greenwater if it maintains its strength as well. We have a stars donation from Ken Moffitt. Thank you for donating 200 stars. Michelle says nothing here in Tacoma. Yeah, that is correct. Nothing in Tacoma yet. The closest we got was some lightning down here in Nisqually, Yelm, and Rainier about an hour and a half ago. That's the closest we got. Yeah, I can tell. You can see all of the little blips here. But they are really, really struggling to get going. I would have to suspect there's probably a bit of stable air over us right now that is hindering these storms from getting any stronger. These showers, I should say. We have the only lightning strikes occurring right now in the area are over Mount Rainier. I have a couple of lightning strikes on the southwest face of it right now. Likely orographically enhanced. Visible from the Windlock area, someone says lightning down towards St. Helens. Yeah, the weather bug site's a little bit laggy today. I may need to refresh it, but you're likely seeing all of this down here between St. Helens and Adams. That cell that's moving up towards Packwood right now is producing a prolific amount of lightning down here. All right, Yvonne Smith, thank you for 50 stars. How can one detect stable air? It's not necessarily about detecting. I can pull up a site that allows me to view the MESIL analysis from the SPC. And we can look at the instability profiles on here. So I'm going to look at, make sure I look at the right one. Thermodynamics, and let's go most unstable cape. Yeah, so right now it's not showing much for instability over our area now. Really anywhere in the red contours, I know it's a little bit hard to see, so I'll try zooming in for you guys. Really anywhere in these red lines down here, you have the best shot of seeing thunderstorms tonight. We really need these red lines to push north. But right now, it looks like the air is pretty stable. So the fact that we don't have any red lines, these red contours here, like the ones that say 250 and 500, we don't have that over our area right now, and that's a problem for thunderstorms. The greatest area of unstable air right now is over the southern Washington Cascades and over the Willamette Valley. I'm just looking at the instability contours right now. Someone said 10 p.m. thunder in Kent. I just got a lightning notification on my phone. Can confirm we now have lightning strikes in Covington and Maple Valley. And this is why, right here. Nice little blip popped up just east of Kent, and we do have lightning in this vicinity now. The Ravensdale, Black Diamond, Covington, Maple Valley, Hobart, Kent, Renton area. Heads up. And now showing up on the WeatherBug app as well. Thank you, The Real Sandwich, for bringing that to my attention. Any possibility of flooding in Chehalis Grand Mound? I think the possibility of flooding is pretty low right now. Keatlin Haney says, lightning in Federal Way. You likely saw this just to your northeast. Yeah, Darsa says, just saw big flash east of the house. Here in the distance from Renton. Heard some thunder in Renton, Chris Fox said. Lightning, Jan Chris Vicente from Covington. All the dogs are barking. If you haven't already given your dogs any medication, now would probably be the time if you're in or north of where these lightning strikes just occurred. So Issaquah area, Sammamish, Bellevue, Duval, Fall City, anywhere north of where these lightning strikes just occurred, be on standby for additional rounds of thunderstorms possible. It's really hard to tell from radar at the moment what's going on. Okay, this looks better from the Langley Hill radar. Langley Hill radar shows this much clearer. Lightning strikes occurred up in this area, but the area of greatest reflectivity right now is just to your south. We still don't have any advisories down here. What is the NWS in Portland doing? Man, look at that cell about to cross the Columbia again between Bonneville and Cascade Locks. So Cascade Locks, North Bonneville, Stevenson area, watch out. There's a pretty nasty cell moving towards you right now. Could be producing some pretty decent sized hail and some strong outflow winds, possibly up to 45 miles per hour. This cell, however, is losing a little bit of steam as it moves up towards Packwood, so we'll see if this one really hangs on, but we have some new development as well. Just south of Packwood, this will move off towards Cayuse Pass, just east of Packwood. Any funnel risk? Since these cells are more elevated, the funnel risk is low. Saw lightning coming from the Kent direction. Seen a flash in Hobart. Hoping for good rain in Port Townsend, we could use some. It's possible once these cells really start to turn into just plain old rain, we could wake up to widespread rain, maybe thunderstorms tomorrow morning. Maybe. But the chance of rain looks much better area-wide. Yeah, the funnel risk is going to be low. There's just not a lot of shear right now in the atmosphere, which is changing wind direction and speed with height. You know, the rotational shear that you need for funnels and tornadoes. You just don't really have that at the moment. And these cells are not surface-based, so they're not taking in heating from the ground. You just don't. You have a much lesser funnel cloud and tornado risk with elevated storms like this, where the convection is thousands and thousands of feet above the ground. Normally above a stable layer of air near the surface. Yeah, picking up lightning now on radar scope from that cell. This is directly over Cascade Locks and moving into Stevenson in the next 5 minutes. If I were the NWS in Portland, personally, I have no say because I have no NWS or meteorological experience in the field. But I would personally put a special weather statement on these for the potential of hail up to possibly 3/4 of an inch in diameter and wind gusts up to 45, maybe even 50 miles per hour. Just sub-severe. Based on what I've seen in this area before, I feel like these should warrant a special weather statement here in the next few minutes. And same with this one too. This one should have a special weather statement, but it doesn't. So I'm going to warn you guys myself. Like, this is your advisory. ETG said there is one now. Oh, yep, you're right. Booyah, called that. So now, yep, special weather statement in effect for, let's see, this is Multnomah and Hood River counties here in Oregon and Skamania County here in Western Washington. I feel like the last time we had an actual severe storm was in September of 2019. I think the last time we had a severe warning here in the Seattle area was August of 2024. But we have a pretty long severe warning drought from the NWS in Seattle. One of the longest in the country, I believe. Yeah, we do have a new special weather statement in effect. This is in effect until 10:30 p.m. Hail up to a 1/2 inch in diameter and wind gusts to 30 miles per hour possible. So a bit on the lower end, but I'm glad that they put out an advisory for this. And expect advisories to come in the next few minutes for this cluster here over the west slopes of the Oregon Cascades. Half-inch hail and cascade locks. Yep, that is correct. If this was in the Midwest, this would have been a different conversation. This was in the Midwest, this wouldn't even be worthy of a stream. Cells of this strength would not be worthy of it. Just ask Max Velocity and Ryan Hall, y'all. They'd be like, oh, this is nothing to sneeze over. We're not streaming this. Yeah, there's severe warnings, but not always actual severe storms. Most of the severe warnings are based on radar indications, not real-time observations. And see, this shower activity here is really becoming sloppy. So let's go check the lightning map again. Nothing new since the initial lightning strikes out here near Maple Valley and Covington. So it's probably just one of those little one-hit wonders. See, we have lightning detected earlier from Mount Rainier also, but that is old. All this down here, this is all brand new though. I think we may have some lightning to the west of Mount St. Helens too. That might be a little more recent. It's a little bit difficult to tell. That might have been either what was left of this shower, or you have lightning striking several miles from the parent thunderstorm down here. And that's what's showing up on the lightning map. And look at that. That's probably dropping at least half-inch to three-quarter-inch hail right now. 64 dBz. That's a strong storm directly over the Cascade Crest in Central Oregon. This is... My Oregon geography is kind of slipping, but this is either near the Three Sisters or Mount Jefferson. I'm not sure which one comes right after Mount Hood. I think this might be around the Three Sisters, though. Pretty nasty storm. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a special weather statement. These should already have special weather statements. I do not know why we don't have any advisories on these. But I'm glad they finally pulled the trigger and put an advisory on this one, because this one looks pretty nasty. Going through Stevenson and moving north-northeast. Luckily, it's going to stay mostly rural after this. But if this holds together, we'll be moving directly towards Packwood. Any idea if we will see anything in Sumner? Morgan Rick is asking. There's a shot. The cells are kind of outrunning the most unstable air right now. So there's a chance, but right now it's not looking good based on what I'm seeing back here. These showers are becoming much, much weaker over time. So really, if we see these cells start to run into a brick wall and fizzle as they move north, that'll reduce our thunderstorm threat overnight. That'll just tell you, okay, the air is not unstable enough. Thunderstorms are not going to survive in this environment. Lightning alert, 26 miles from shoreline. Thank you, Darsa, for your donation of 500 stars here on Facebook. Heard a thunder boom 10 minutes ago, just one. Yeah, that was the one that produced this lightning up here. A lot of people chimed in and said they heard this. But most lightning activity here in Western Washington right now is down here in Skamania County. Got one flash of lightning for the year. I still haven't seen any. I have a southward looking window from Tacoma. I have not seen a single flash of lightning yet. Just my luck, right? As us in the weather world call it, getting skunked. It's a prolific amount of lightning right now with those cells over the Central Oregon Cascades. Look, these things are looking nasty. A lot of orographic enhancement going on for sure. Debbie Peck is tuning in from Olympia. Welcome in. Better Way almost never gets anything from snow to thunderstorms, except a couple weeks ago that water spout that reappeared. Yeah, crazy to think that was almost a month ago already. Any idea how Monroe is going to look later? Well, if we don't get things firing up here quick, then I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed tonight and tomorrow morning. Again, if we go and look at the meso analysis, let me make sure I refresh this. Look at most unstable. Yeah, so you see the red lines here, maybe a little hard to see, but anything north of this right now is more stable than anything south of this. So most of Western Washington, especially the Puget Sound area, is looking pretty stable right now, which is not what you want to see for thunderstorm. The most unstable environment right now is over the South Washington Cascades and the Central Oregon Cascades. This is why these storms are really taking off here over the Oregon Cascades, because there's over 500 joules per kilogram of CAPE right now, elevated CAPE, which is a measure of storm fuel and storm potential. So 500 is pretty significant, and that's why we're seeing things really, really take off down here in Central Oregon right now. Still no advisories for this. Madness. These are even pushing severe, honestly. These are pushing severe limits. As a little reminder to you guys, in order to have a severe storm, you need either or wind gusts of at least 58 miles per hour or greater, or hail at least quarter size hail. So 1 inch in diameter or greater. If you get one or both of those criteria, then you have a severe thunderstorm. Lightning frequency does not matter, and rainfall rates do not matter. So this weather advisory for Skamania County in Washington continues for the next 14 minutes. So this will expire at around 10:30 p.m. Once again, wind up to 30 miles per hour and hail up to ½ inch in diameter expected. That is around penny to nickel size hail. But this is moving into a rural area of the county now. Want instability in Snohomish County? Yeah, it never works out for some of us up here, does it? We'll keep our eyes peeled on this area as well. This is moving up towards Mossy Rock and Morton, just about to cross into southern Lewis County. So Mossy Rock, Morton, Silver Creek, Salcombe area. No, that's well too far west. Hang on, let me fix this. So Mossy Rock through Morton. This could include the Cinnabar area as well. So Mossy Rock, Morton, Cinnabar area. Watch out for this stuff coming out of the south. You just got a new scan and it looks a little more intense. Nothing crazy, but just a little more intense. And still watching these two little cells move up towards Packwood right now as well. But these are moving pretty much directly towards Packwood. Both of these. Last question for now. What are you really looking for in terms of mountain level as well as down the lowlands? Well, your best shot of storms tonight is by default going to be in the mountains. The lowlands, as we've seen, we've had some areas of thunderstorms already detected. Up here, for example, down here. We've had reports of thunder down in Enumclaw and Buckley. Had quite a bit down in the Randall Packwood area earlier too. So I think the threat of any more thunderstorms tonight in the lowlands is going to be marginal. Because there's not much unstable air to work with anymore. Most of it is too far south. So we're really going to be relying on any of these heavy cells to keep their act going as they move into more stable air and try to last as long as possible before they start to fizzle out. So the stronger the storms are as soon as they enter the unstable air mass, the better your storm chances are going to be. But a lot of this activity either way, down here in Oregon, if it survives, is going to stay mostly over the Cascade Crest overnight. Now you see this is all just slop now. It's turned to mush. Just going through a few chats, see what they have to say. He says, doing great. Hope you're enjoying Lake Stevens. If you mean, oh, you're talking to Sonia. Pardon me on that. Chris Fox, I did not get your notification, but thank you for the donation of 145 stars. Graham area. The area of interest has moved north. But it doesn't mean that we're that doesn't mean we're out of the woods quite yet. You still have quite a bit of activity popping up here in the unstable environment. The real question now is, can it survive as it moves into the lowlands? Or will these updrafts collapse into themselves? It seems like right now that seems to be the main story. Only a few areas have gotten lucky and have gotten thunderstorms in the lowlands already tonight, but a lot of areas have missed out so far. That's why I can't stress enough that a lot of areas will be disappointed tonight. That's usually how it pretty much always is around here during these setups. Yeah, so the main reason Seattle area doesn't get thunderstorms during the raining season like November is just because the air coming off the Pacific is way too stable. We just don't get these storm setups that often during the fall, especially the later fall going into winter. There's a lot of things working against it, like the stable Pacific air, for example, and the sun angle is much lower. That really hinders our storm chances. So we really just rely on these elevated thunderstorms. We really need a huge trough to swing in, and that's what we're looking at here on satellite right now. Well, we were looking at it. It's this huge area of low pressure to bring in enough unstable air. You know, the winds are splitting aloft above the ground, and this is creating a void of pressure in which lift is initiated from the ground to fill said pressure void. We did just get a new lightning strike here on Windy. So that was 11 minutes ago, though. But looks like lightning is within about 20 miles of Packwood, so heads up, Packwood area. This is likely coming for you. You see the eastern side of this trough right here, this area of low pressure, is creating plenty of destabilization in the upper atmosphere, allowing for these storms to form. But the greatest area of destabilization right now is, of course, being stolen by Oregon. Because go figure, right? Can't have anything nice here in Western Washington. We do from time to time, but very seldom compared to down there, where they're mostly sheltered from air coming off the Pacific by the coast range. Thunderstorms over Browns Point, Dash Point area. Well, once again, with the location-based questions, it's going to be very hard to tell you for sure. So I'm just gonna say that the chances right now are pretty low the rest of the night. I'm not going to say it's 0, but it's still a pretty low likelihood since the area of most unstable air, once again, is south of the Puget Sound. So a lot of the problem right now is the air is just too stable over us, which is killing these storms as they move into the area. Yeah, we've got a little bit of a reprieve before the next round comes in. Arlington, need to see some lightning and hear some thunder. Fingers crossed for you tonight. No guarantees. Gonna pop a cough drop because unfortunately I'm getting a sore throat. Not what I want to look forward to, but with family members in the house sick, it's pretty much inevitable. I think I'm coming down with the sickness. Just kept my dad out of work the last 2 days. Not good stuff, I tell you. We do have a couple of little blips directly over Wilkeson and Carbonado, as well as down near Fairfax. Down towards the Carbon River Ranger Station, these are moving north, but I don't expect these to do very much for the time being. I believe what's going on is these showers are finding little isolated pockets of unstable air within the stable air mass, and that's where we're getting the thunderstorms over the Puget Sound. Logan is watching from Iowa. Hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hello there from Western Washington. Current time is 10:24. We've been streaming for around an hour, 44 minutes. And still this late, we have a pretty decent audience. We have 60 on both YouTube and Facebook for a total of 120 viewers. For anyone just tuning in, hello, my name is Anthony. This is Puget Sound Stormwatch, and thank you so much for tuning into our live stream coverage tonight for thunderstorm activity around Western Washington. Also be eyeballing areas of Western Oregon and Eastern Washington from time to time, mainly upon request. This special weather statement down here in Eastern Washington has been allowed to expire, but there's a possibility for a new one to be coming soon. This cell right now is moving up towards Cheney. So someone was asking from Cheney earlier. The cell could be moving directly up towards you, but it's still about an hour to an hour and a half away. The strongest activity is by far over the Oregon Cascade Crest. And I'm amazed that we don't have any special weather statements on any of these potent cells right now. Like, all of that, this should be one huge weather statement. We do have this special weather statement, which is in effect for about 3 more minutes before it's allowed to expire. And this cell is, again, gaining some steam here in rural Skamania County. It's about to move into rural Lewis County. This is moving almost directly towards Packwood at this time. It is moving directly towards Packwood. Same with this one, too. So, Packwood, heads up. It's moving towards you. Leading edge of this storm is about 23 miles to your south. And the next one is about twice that distance. So assuming these cells are moving at around 25 to 30 miles per hour. Okay, no, I was way off. It's moving north at 40. That means the ETA for Packwood is going to be around, I'm going to say around the 11:05, 11:10 or so p.m. tonight for the first storm. Still producing plenty of lightning, and we do actually have some newer strikes in the Packwood vicinity already. Directly over Cayuse Pass. It's really not showing up well on radar at all. But it's this area here. This is going to stay over the foothills and the crest. This is likely going to be moving up towards Snoqualmie Pass, though. Sprinkling in northeast Seattle now. How's Lacey going to be? I think right now Lacey's in the clear. The bulk of activity is going to stay east of Lacey at the moment. But if we're going to watch anything for Lacey, it's going to be this activity over here. It's really, it doesn't look too crazy on radar. But we do have a nice shower over Vader and Winlock, moving north towards Napavine, Chehalis, Bucota, and Tenino, up towards Lacey here shortly. But no reports of thunder or lightning. It's your ordinary garden variety shower. Nothing too crazy. Adrian, thank you for tuning in. Yes, long time no see. All is going better here. Wanted to give you guys a little life update. I have gotten myself back into therapy and back on medications that I need to be able to function on a daily basis. So things are starting to look up. Huge shout out to my family for all the support. Wouldn't be able to be at this stage without them. Okay, this advisory just expired. So that'll fall off the map here in a second. And a whole 10 raindrops and it stopped in Lake Stevens. Love that for you. All right, this advisory is going to be gone here in a moment. Yeah, lightning slowly creeping up towards Packwood from the south. These lightning strikes from earlier near Maple Valley, those are going to fall off the map here shortly. These are old lightning strikes as well, at least these ones to the west of St. Helens. I think this one to the southwest may be a newer one, potentially. It's a little hard to tell. There's a lot going on the radar at the moment. Now, I mean a lot. All right, Christy, have a great night. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you guys for the kind words. So that reminds me, I got to take my medication tonight. Haven't had to say that in a while. I just got my medication doubled tonight, as a matter of fact. So it's going to be my first night taking a double dose. Let's see how it affects the stream from this point on. But I have to finish my cough drop first. So this advisory should have already, yeah, see it says expired. So it should be coming off the map here any second now. Yep, there we go. It's gone. Now, will they put out any new advisories for Skamania County? This is the NWS Portland zone, and then once they move into Lewis County, then it's NWS Seattle. But NWS Seattle seems to be very conservative about issuing advisories and especially warnings. So I doubt right now that we'll see any special weather statements for Lewis County, barring any miracles. Currently raining in Issaquah. far as these storms, typically late summer. So August and September usually, historically at least, has been our thunderstorm season. I think depending on the meteorologist or the forecaster you talk to, they may say somewhat different. Like I've seen a few say that like April and May is prime time. Sometimes yes, but not all the time. It's very sporadic. But I noticed that a lot of our big thunderstorm events have been in August and September. What app am I reading the comments from? Well, I have a TV screen up top, and I have my YouTube chat and my Facebook chat in different windows up there. So I've got my NWS bot monitor up in the top left that reads off any products that are issued by the NWS, so any advisories, watches, warnings, etc. And then I've got the YouTube comment box in a little strip and the Facebook comment box in a little strip. So I'm just, if you see me looking up above the camera, that's me looking at the comments. Oh yeah, I can tell people are either getting bored or falling asleep because Facebook viewership just tanked off a cliff. Still have 54 of you guys watching on YouTube. Thank you guys for 51 likes on YouTube as well. I haven't even begun to look on the Facebook comments. It's probably pretty darn outrageous. So yeah, huge shout out to Benjamin Yurkovich, Washington Weather Chasers, for sharing the stream on Facebook. There's so many notifications. You know, I gotta get caught up on these notifications real quick before I lose track of everything. All right. 237 reactions so far on Facebook. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Thank you for getting the word out. If you guys like the coverage that you're seeing, go ahead and share the stream to your friends. Oops. I had it playing in another window. That startled me for a second. I was like, hang on, what's that sound? Okay, just 1 second, and then we'll be back to our programming. So 43 viewers on Facebook, 171 peak viewers, which is incredible. I have 237 reactions, 278 comments, and 23 shares. And we've had 1,197 stars donated so far tonight. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your generosity. Once again, if you guys would like to donate, the best way to do so would be via coffee.com. And I have the link to this site attached in the comments on Facebook and YouTube. It is pinned there, so you can't miss it. Yeah, the lightning strikes nearby have been erased, including those just west of Mount St. Helens, so it's been over a half hour since those occurred. Still showing lightning strikes in the last half hour just north of Packwood here near Cayuse Pass. And then new lightning still popping up just south of Packwood. Let's go look at radar one more time. You see this cell is intensifying a little bit, just a little bit, as it moves off to the north, just east of Carpenado and Wilkeson. And this, I believe, will stay mainly over rural areas of Pierce and King counties. There's a chance this could move a little bit west and possibly clip Enumclaw. But right now, no lightning, and does not look like it's capable of producing lightning at the moment. Yeah, this cell here is about to cross into Lewis County. This is moving directly towards you, Packwood. Any thunder possible in Everett? Certainly possible, but the chances right now are not looking too good at the moment. We need. Oh, geez, I just realized how much of a mess my hair is. Having a bad hair day today. But anyways, the air is stabilizing a bit over the Puget Sound, and that's not helping our storm chances. So we would need things to destabilize quite a bit. And I just don't really see that happening much. At least until the early morning hours tomorrow. Will we be able to stay up that long? I don't know for sure. Can't make any guarantees. We do, however, have some more lightning popping up down here over the I-5 corridor south of Salem down to Eugene. If this could get organized, that will move up towards our area as well. It looks like for our Eastern Washington audience, we do have a new special weather statement for that storm moving into Cheney right now. This does include downtown Spokane over the next 36 minutes. So this is until 11:15 p.m. tonight. Hail up to a 1/4 inch in diameter and winds to 30 miles per hour possible. This is moving north, technically north-northeast at about 40 miles per hour. 14 miles southwest of Cheney. It might move just west of Cheney. This is moving more towards Medical Lake and Airway Heights. Still tracking a few areas of strong showers down here near Napavine, moving into Chehalis and Centralia. Got an area of showers popping up near Mossy Rock, moving north. And we got this area also down here near Ethel and Onalaska, moving again towards Rainier and Yelm. But not looking as intense as they were before. Yeah, this cell is now well into Lewis County, and I can already see it's losing quite a bit of steam. Yeah, they're going to be outrunning that instability axis, so it's not looking too great for the Puget Sound area for storm activity. Unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. If we luck out, that area of instability will move north over time. Oops. Just dragged the window down by accident. Okay, let's fix that. Any thunder possible for Skagit County near Burlington? I have low confidence that you'll get thunderstorms overnight. You think we have, and we're still a ways out from any new high-res model guidance, but let's go look at the HER and see what it shows for. I think we have the ability to look at most unstable parcel. Yeah, we do. Let's see. Nope, I am way off on that. Wow. Okay, there we go. So we're looking for the areas of gray to move in. And it looks like we have some slightly unstable air around the area, but it's very isolated. That would be around 10 a.m. tomorrow. Right now, the greatest area of destabilization and instability is, of course, over the Oregon Cascades, with some also stretching into the South and Central Washington Cascades. But there's a few dozen joules per kilogram of instability. You can definitely get something with that, and we've seen that already tonight a few times. But it's not great. It's okay, but it's not great. And that instability shifts north and east, and we actually become almost completely stable as we go into the morning hours tomorrow. See, those are pretty minuscule numbers on that model. We saw several new lightning strikes pop up between St. Helens and Mount Adams. So this is coming for you, Packwood area. Heads up. May not look like much on radar, but it's still producing an abundant amount of lightning as it moves into your area. Anything coming towards Lacey right now? Not at the moment. This little shower is moving towards you, but it's having trouble getting its act together. And there we go. We have a new advisory for this cell near Government Camp. This is moving towards Odell, Hood River, and White Salmon. So this is until 11:15 p.m. Half-inch hail possible with that, and wind gusts to 30 miles per hour. So this is going to cross just west of Mount Hood, I believe. This is moving north-northeast again towards Parkdale, Odell, and Hood River. This cell right here looks a bit more intense than the last scan too, and this is also going to track towards the Packwood area as well. So Packwood could have a 1-2 punch with thunderstorms before the night's over. Bellevue area, not looking too good for storm activity right now. Once again, we do have a few pop-up cells around the Pierce and King County Cascade foothills, but they're not doing much of anything at the moment. The most potent one right now is this one. This is still likely going to miss most of the population centers here in the foothills to the east. But if it does get its act together, I wouldn't be surprised if you heard a clap of thunder over the next half hour or so. I have low confidence in that at the moment. Another shower out near Chambers Bay, also moving north over Fox Island towards Gig Harbor and Purdy. I'm really not expecting much more out of this area, at least until the early morning hours tomorrow. So Leavenworth going to get any lightning? I don't see anything in that area. The only storm we have in eastern Washington at the moment is this one out near Spokane and Cheney. Everywhere else is in the clear. Eatonville, Centralia. I have low confidence that you'll see anything. I'm like I said earlier in my postings on Facebook, it's non-zero, but the likelihood is still pretty low that we'll get anything else tonight. Best chances are going to be where you get the orographic lift enhancement over the mountains, as we see down here over the crest, the Oregon Cascade crest. But there's not a lot of instability to work with over the Puget Sound right now. And we can start to see that by just how much the showers are weakening as they move over the region. But we'll keep our eyes on the lightning tracker to see if this changes, because it's always possible. Okay, did just get a new lightning strike just outside of Packwood here. Did see this one pop up. Looks like we may have just had one just southeast of Packwood as well, but that likely resulted in thunder being heard in Packwood. So, getting lightning striking several miles from the parent storm, which is something that I cannot stress enough when I talk about events like this. Always possible that you could get lightning that strikes several miles out. Unfortunately, getting a bit of a radar beam issue with Mount St. Helens in the way. You can see it a little better on the Langley Hill radar. There's a pretty nice looking cell entering directly into Packwood right now. So Packwood, you've got about 5 to 10 minutes before this thing's right on top of you. And then just remember, the threat's not over yet because you got this other one moving towards you as well. Which is probably another 45 to 50 minutes out, just to the south of you. Goma has been pretty quiet. Yeah, this is true. Looking at Radar Omega right now, everything looks rather weak. Lightning strike about an hour ago, went to my front porch and heard thunder. Yeah, the activity over Western Washington is not doing too hot right now. It was doing much better when I started the stream, but the air mass is just getting much more stable as time goes on. I'm guessing Pacific Northwest Flight Sim, I'm guessing you mean Snoqualmie? Snoqualmie get those 2 cells that are coming for Packwood? It's possible, yeah. They're moving up towards Snoqualmie Pass. But will they keep their act together? Because they're moving out of the most unstable environment right now. And let me go check current missile analysis again to see if this has changed. It is not. So Snoqualmie is outside of the of the most unstable environment. I think once these storms start to leave the red line right up here, once they start to move north of that red line, they're moving into a much more stable environment. And they won't be able to sustain themselves for very long, if at all. Yeah, we have lightning just west of Packwood and much more lightning south of Packwood. So heads up, Packwood area. If you know anyone there, tell them lightning is on the way. Just prolific amount of lightning in the last half hour over the Cascades. Oh, Snoquera. I've never heard of that. But that's much closer anyway, so your chance of getting this is much better than Snoqualmie. Never heard of Snoquera or Snowcara, however I pronounce it. Yeah, see, this cell I was eyeballing earlier is having a really difficult time getting its act together. Probably doing not much more than producing some moderate to heavy rain, and that's really about it. But the atmosphere is really, really stabilizing now, and that's going to really reduce our thunderstorm risk overnight. All right, folks, going to take my medicines. Going to take a quick break, so just stand by. Going to roll some ads on YouTube. here in just a moment. Gotta make sure I take this before the end of the night. So be right back, folks. Again, thank you so much for your patience. I'm going to leave this on the radar screen. And see you guys in a moment. Go fill up on some water here in a little bit. A show to our east in Centralia. You can see the flashes but can't hear the boom. How about tomorrow? Temps dropping significantly and more rain coming. Yeah, after tomorrow morning, the thunderstorm threat looks pretty minuscule. I'm going to be tracking, again, the chances of widespread rain and also some wind around the Puget Sound area as well as the back end of that trough moves over. So there's some areas around the sound that could have some wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour out of the west, possibly. And I'll be posting an update on that tomorrow morning, assuming I don't pull an all-nighter. Yeah, the temperature anomalies are going to be crazy. I mean, like 20 to 25 degrees cooler for some areas. Like 80s, 70s, likely going to be out of the question. Some areas may have a hard time breaking 60 tomorrow for highs. Man, these cells are really not doing good. A couple of blips here, South Prairie, Buckley area that are moving to the north, but they are struggling with this air mass right now. And you see this cell that moved into the stable environment is just running into a brick wall at the moment. Still producing lightning, but nowhere near as strong as it was before. And just look at all that lightning in the last half hour. Ridiculous. Some of this could be dry lightning too with the elevated nature of these showers and storms. So don't be surprised if you hear reports of fire starts overnight over the mountains. You know, it's just, we're entering that time of the year where we really have to worry about fire starts. Two Tempest weather stations. I would love to have a Tempest, but it's outside of the budget right now. One in La Junta, Colorado, one in Troy, Missouri. Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about Tempest weather stations outside of the price tag. Will there be any lightning in Tacoma? It's looking more and more unlikely as time goes on. I think we may have already had our best shot at lightning tonight. Let me go compare model runs real quick. Even though we're in nowcast territory where it's not really favorable to use model runs, we can still kind of estimate what we're going to be seeing tonight. This is showing shower activity really picking up sharply around 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, but it doesn't look like it's capable of thunderstorms. It looks more just like a heavy line of showers over the eastern lowlands. Could possibly have some thunderstorms off the coast with the secondary band out here. Once that secondary band moves in and dissipates a little bit, this is going to be when we have the rain tomorrow morning around the Puget Sound area. Once that band of moisture moves in. And then it looks like the convergence zone fires up tomorrow afternoon, and then this is when we're going to be talking wind as well. Let me zoom in to show you guys a closer picture of what I'm talking about. So this area of no wind here, this is likely where the convergence zone would set up tomorrow. So you have strong to borderline damaging winds here east of the Cascades, where those wind advisories and high wind warnings are in effect. They go into effect at 5 a.m. tomorrow and continue until 11 p.m. So 5 a.m. tomorrow to 11 p.m. tomorrow. Wind advisories and high wind warnings east of the crest. And then breezy to blustery conditions likely for parts of the Puget Sound as well as downstream of the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Those are expected to pick up around maybe 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. And it likely will peak sometime tomorrow afternoon. Looking at lightning flash density. This usually overdoes it, but it does show potential for lightning flashes before the sun rises tomorrow. It just depends on if that instability moves north or not. If it does move north with the system, then we'll have a better chance of getting thunderstorms early in the morning tomorrow. But if it stays put over Oregon and the southern Washington Cascades, then bets are most likely going to be off. Used to be a weather spotter in St. Louis. Yeah, this is kindergarten. This is nothing to bat an eye over. But for the Puget Sound area, this is like legendary. Yeah. I don't think these two little showers are going to be doing anything anytime soon. It's way too stable right now. This advisory for Hood River County here in Oregon remains in effect until 11:15, again for hail up to half-inch diameter and winds to 30 miles per hour. Even I can tell that these showers are beginning to lose some strength over the mountains, even with the orographic lift enhancement. Still seeing some activity down here in the southern Willamette Valley where there is still some instability present. But even then, it's not doing too much at this time. Yeah, these showers are really struggling here over the I-5 corridor. Like, they are not doing good. Yeah, this cell down south of Lakewood, or Packwood, pardon me, is losing strength as it moves north too. It's hard to tell where any new lightning strikes are popping up due to the abundant amount of overlap in the last 30 minutes. Like, there's thousands of lightning strikes from the Packwood area all the way down into the central Oregon Cascades. See lightning being picked up around Eugene and Corvallis as well in the last half hour. Ooh, that's a pollen alert. Never mind that. But no new lightning strikes in the Packwood vicinity in the last 10 or so minutes. Knock on wood for that. Yeah, if it comes out of the southeast, those southeasterly flow events are usually some of our stronger storms that we've had around here. For example, I believe September 5th, 2013 was a great one. I think September 7th, 2019 was also southeast flow. August 17th, 2024 is one of the more famous ones for sure. And then what could have been on March 26th of 2025. What could have been but didn't quite materialize. We still got some really nice lightning and cloud structure up here, but no severe weather by any means. Yeah, southerly flow events like this don't hold a candle to those southeasterly flow events. Which, once more, a little review for you guys. When the showers come out of the southeast, moving towards the northwest. This is southeasterly flow. Right now, the flow is southerly, and it's not as great for storms around the Puget Sound as out of the southeast. Because then you can get these stronger storms to roll off the Cascades into the Puget Sound, not have to rely on instability directly over the Puget Sound to sustain these storms. Starting to lose steam, folks. Not gonna lie, it's becoming pretty difficult to stay up. All right. Captain 2775, hello, how are you doing? Welcome into coverage after hours here on Puget Sound Stormwatch. And man, it is starting to look disappointing all of a sudden. Really good down in Oregon where there's unstable air, but man, once it starts moving up into like Lewis County, it runs into a brick wall of stable air and it is just killing these thunderstorms. Watching the next decent shower capable of producing lightning moving into Packwood and points north. So it's pretty much going to follow the exact same track as this one that just came through. And then probably expect the same for some of these too. So Packwood, you may have a 1, 2, 3, maybe even a 1, 2, 3, 4 punch tonight before it's over. Hoping for good storms tonight. Yeah. If you guys notice on my blog post, if you guys follow me on Facebook or Patreon, I'm still pretty hesitant about talking about the chance of thunderstorms. I actually didn't even mention it up until like a day before. I think I started posting about it yesterday morning, and I wasn't super enthusiastic about the setup. We've had the same setup like probably 3 times already this year, and this was by far the best setup of the year, and it's still not as great as it could have been. Still pretty lackluster in reality compared to a lot of our past storm events. The huge dynamics are just not lining up right. Oh, do have something of interest that just popped up here between Cedro Woolley and Lyman. That just popped up out of nowhere. So Skagit, Whatcom counties may want to keep an eye on this one. This is going to move just east of Acme. This is going to move probably towards Maple Falls or Glacier. If this shower here can somehow get going and get its act together, that would again move up towards Maple Falls and Glacier area in Whatcom County. Man, a lot of the precipitation is just dying out. It's running into that brick wall of stable air, and it's just not doing it any favors. So yeah, we're getting this activity off the coast as well. This band of showers off the coast could be trying to intensify, but this is going to stay over water. But you never know. Maybe if you're in Ocean Shores looking west, you could see some lightning from that later on. That would be pretty cool. Also got like 5 raindrops just now. Thank Grace Harbor for that. Onshore flows killing it off. Onshore flow doesn't affect the elevated storms like we're seeing today. I want to see if I can pull up a sounding for you guys to show you what I mean on this. Let's go to 11 p.m. on the forecast model. I'm going to pull up the Tacoma area. We're going to view a sounding. It doesn't even show convection on this model. That's crazy. Yeah, it's showing 0 instability on the HER model. That might have been... Okay, yeah. Here's what I mean right here. This is probably the closest that we're going to get. So, the LFC, which is where the instability begins, this is way up. This is 5 kilometers above ground level. So, this is what I mean by elevated. If this LFC were down by this LCL line, which is where the cloud base forms, then this would be more surface base, and then the onshore flow would affect it. It would kill it off. But since we're not pulling air from the surface, or pulling air from up in the atmosphere above the ground layer, it's not dependent on surface conditions. So the really cool air down towards the surface right now has very little, if any, effect on storm behavior tonight. Otherwise, the storms would have dissipated as soon as the sun went down. And these are also extremely low top, too. So the EL line, there's not much unstable air. It actually shows there's more capping. The SIN H right here, there's much more capping than there is CAPE, which is available potential energy for the storm to utilize. So there's basically no instability. It's really, really stable up here, according to this model. I mean, like, really stable. Yeah, it shows the instability completely disappearing in the next hour, which would destroy any thunderstorm chances that we have overnight. See what the NAM shows, because the NAM usually is a bit more robust on this, and it is. So the NAM's instability, see, no surface-based CAPE. So it's all most unstable parcel CAPE, which is elevated. And 0 capping whatsoever. So 0 inhibition, 515 joules per kilogram of CAPE in this atmosphere, with quite a bit of instability to work with. The distance between the LFC yellow line and the EL purple line. Then as soon as it hits midnight, it's gone. And just gotta love that stable airloft. The killer of all things joy. Yeah, I personally don't think the onshore flow has anything to do with storm behavior tonight. If it was surface based, yes, it would completely mitigate the risk of storms. But this elevated storm threat that we have is mostly based off of defluence aloft in the atmosphere and elevated instability. So it's pulling in moisture in the upper levels from off the Pacific, because you need moisture, lift, and instability for thunderstorms. You have all three, you're going to get thunderstorms. We have the moisture. We, for the most part, have the lift because we have that defluence, the wind that's splitting apart as you go up in the atmosphere. But the instability is the big head scratcher here. And you saw in the sounding, we don't have any surface-based instability. It's all elevated. It's all from that MU parcel, that most unstable parcel. So we don't have any surface-based instability. The onshore flow made sure that was gone. So that's why we don't have any surface-based storms tonight. The onshore flow killed that off, yes. I'm thinking if we don't get anything going by midnight, that's when we're going to wrap up the stream. It's around midnight. But Skagit, Whatcom County folks, if anyone's still tuning in here, we do kind of have this cell trying to get its act together just west of Lyman. Looking pretty good the last couple of scans. This is moving off towards the northeast. Looks like this is going to be moving towards the Maple Falls Glacier area if it holds together. But still probably about another hour and a half to 2 hours out. Columbia River killed it first. The Chehalis is the second line of defense. That's what you don't realize. Just south of there in Snohomish County, it's raining pretty decently. My garden needed it. Glad to hear that. Let's go look at mesoscale analysis one more time. Most unstable. Yeah, it's not doing too hot. So once again, as a review, anywhere in the red lines here, anywhere in the red lines has the most access to the instability axis. Anywhere outside of it, so anywhere west of this line right here or north of the red line up here, is much more stable air aloft. It is not great for sustaining storms. So it looks like our 500 joule per kilogram Cape parcel is gone here in Oregon. So we're down to about 250 joules per kilogram of most unstable Cape. So that's the reason why those storms over the Cascade Crest are weakening. We still have plenty of Cape over here in eastern Washington. That one storm that we were watching here is outrunning the instability axis, at least the most favorable instability axis. And the shower activity popping up off the coast is under about 100 joules per kilogram of Cape, which is not too much, but it's enough to get something going. It's right around central Lewis County here. Again, it's very hard to tell on this map. This is the official map that the SPC uses. So this is looking at meso-analysis data in real time. So this goes up to about the King of Pierce County line over here on the Cascade Crest and down about halfway into Lewis County. And then once these showers cross out of that axis, they immediately start to die off. So that's what's killing our storm potential, is that lack of unstable air aloft. Yeah, even the air over the Oregon Cascades is beginning to stabilize quite a bit. That's why we're seeing these echoes really begin to die off. Like, just look at how insane it was earlier. And over the last hour, just falling apart, losing structure. Well, that cell was looking good. It's also running into a harsh terrain too, so the radar beam may not be accurately penetrating into the shower itself. So we're likely going to have some terrain contamination with this shower up here through most, if not the rest of its journey up north. But I think we may be able to see it from the Alder Grove radar a little better. Nope, I lied. We cannot. Well, that looks good for maybe 2 scans. And then it fizzled. Yep, this is turning into a slot fest real quick, folks. So I think, unless something crazy happens overnight and early tomorrow morning, I think the storm threat may be done. And it's a good thing I did not put extra emphasis in my posts about it. I was very hesitant about posting like super in depth on this. I just wanted to say there was a chance. But this is why I wasn't going super crazy about it. The areas in the Puget Sound that got thunder and lightning today, you're the lucky ones. But the rest of us, most likely will have to wait till next time. Again, unless something crazy happens, because models are saying we're not quite out of the water yet. But a lot of this activity here wasn't picked up very well on models. I mean, just models in general, when it comes to thunderstorms, do not do a great job of showing when, where, and how strong these storms will be. That's why we do live streams like this, to show this in real time and make short-term forecasts based off of what we're seeing on radar. Got it down to a science, but the weather forecasters here on the TV made it too much. Guessing you mean too much more than anyone else. Yeah, it really depends on who you follow. Gina said, getting a lot of lightning in Hood River. Oh, of course. Yeah, the lightning down there is still got a few, probably a couple to a few hours left before it wraps up. Because it's going to take a little bit for these storms to outrun the instability axis. You can already tell that the instability is pushing away from the South Cascades here in Washington, because these things are just running into a brick wall. Yeah, if anything, the showers look better on the Portland radar. As soon as you get up to the Langley Hill and the Camino Island radars, it's mush. Man, I would not want to be driving along I-90 between North Bend and Snoqualmie right now. That's got to be treacherous. Yeah, lightning up in Packwood's beginning to fall off the map now. So a lot of this lightning up here is going to begin disappearing here in the next few minutes. Probably some pretty decent rain about the move in the DuPont and the Squally now, crossing I-5 here in the next 10 minutes. Just not seeing any indications that we'll get much more for storm activity tonight. Let's see, we have the new 5Z her finishing up. Let's see what the 5Z wants to do. Still showing the same thing. It's showing that these heavy showers congeal into a band over most of the Puget Sound area, but not much in terms of thunderstorms. Lightning potential is definitely there, but this model, the HER, usually overconvects and shows too much lightning flash potential, and this almost never verifies around here. So I'm taking this signal with a grain of salt. This shows a good lightning signal nonetheless around 4 a.m. for the Tacoma area and up in Everett as well, but I'm not going to get my hopes up on that. If anything, it shows better chances over the Olympia area at around 7 a.m. tomorrow. And then it just turns to widespread rain going through tomorrow morning before the moisture moves out and then the convergence zone sets up shop here over central Snohomish County tomorrow afternoon. And then this model for wind gusts, it shows it getting pretty windy down here over the central and south sound also at around 2 p.m. and windy up here along the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Winds out of the west forming that convergence zone. So with trees full of leaves now, we could have some localized wind damage, but I say that very loosely. It'll also depend on if we get any heavy rainfall overnight over this area as well. That could help loosen the soil. So there's really a lot of what ifs. Heard one rumble of thunder in Centralia. You can thank Nick Allard on Cairo 7 for the heads up. He is from Yelm. And so the HER model shows winds picking up around 9 a.m. tomorrow. I usually like to give about a plus or minus 2 hour clearance on this, just as a heads up in case the model deviates a bit, because normally I've seen during wind, sometimes the wind picks up a couple hours early or later than the forecast shows, than the model itself shows. So I usually do a plus or minus 2 hour grace period just to accommodate for these deviations. A safety blanket, if you will. See, what does the 3Z RRFS experimental show? RRFS is not really sold. It's got some of this heavier shower activity at around 2 a.m. around the Seattle area, and probably some heavy showers, maybe an embedded thunderstorm over San Juan Islands, North Whidbey, and possibly areas of Anacortes at around 2 a.m. But outside of that, really not much more. But you see it picks up on the convergence zone signal over Marysville and points east at around 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. With wind gusts around 35 miles per hour across the Central Sound by 1 p.m. tomorrow. All right, let's do a check-in real quick. Hello, everyone. This is Anthony here with Puget Sound Stormwatch. Currently live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. We have 46 of you guys on YouTube, although we just dropped to 40, and then we have 16 of you guys on Facebook, even at 11:30 at night, which is really impressive. Appreciate you guys for your due diligence, staying up with me as we track this activity around the area. It does appear that we're on the back end of it now, though. Still have quite a bit going on over Oregon and southern Washington, but not much more than that at the moment. These showers are outrunning the instability axis, and as a result are kind of dying off as they move north over the Puget Sound. It's just an it is what it is kind of ordeal. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed on YouTube as well. We just hit 2,190 subs, and we may have a shot of hitting 2.2K sometime soon. That would be massive. Massive achievement. I need to check Facebook followers as well because we're getting really close to 43.7K, which I think we already passed. Oh yeah, we went well past it. We're up towards 43.8K on Facebook now. Yeah, we got around 100 new followers from the stream, so thank you guys for following along. I appreciate it, even if there's not much to talk about. Yeah, my throat's getting really sore now, so. And it's not from burnout from talking. It's because I have sick family members in the house, and my dad definitely got me sick. I jinxed it. I said, it's a good thing, I haven't gotten sick from you yet. And sure enough, started getting sick the next day. Should have known. See, we got a new weather advisory up here in Spokane. This is moving up towards Deer Park and Chattaroy. Also includes part of Pend Oreille and Stevens counties as well. Stevens, Spokane, and Pend Oreille counties through 12:15. Winds in excess of 30 miles per hour and pea-size hail possible. Or this shower, once again, tracking up towards. And we don't even have any towns showing up. It's a hinterland out here. But yeah, it's tracking up towards the Elk, Chattaroy area and Deer Park. We have an airport station out there too, which is pretty cool. Be tracking kind of like that. It does appear we have new convective development, at least newer convective development down here near Dayton again. These are likely all wind farms or mountains or the sort, so just ignore these radar echoes down there. Yeah, it looks like we have a new shower moving directly into Dayton. Yeah, this lightning's vanishing. Has produced lightning in the past, but I'm not seeing any recent lightning. Produced lightning just southeast of Waitsburg. We're starting to see a lot of this lightning fall off the map too here in Oregon, so. You can see the evolution of the instability. The instability is trying to move north a little bit, but it's just getting hung up here over the central Washington Cascades, and it's not moving much farther north than that. Yeah, it's having a really hard time. We do not have a nearly unstable enough air mass over us. See, 0 surface cape and 0 mixed layer cape as well. Check our lapse rates. Very meager lapse rates, only around 5.5 to 5.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. That's not great for storms. Effective bulk shear. The best wind shear right now is over the mountains in eastern Washington. We have basically 0 bulk shear over western Washington. The effective SRH, yeah, we don't have any helicity over us. The dynamics are just really not there. They were there a little better earlier, but not as much this time around. The normalized cape, nothing. Yeah, it's too stable. That's what's killing our storms. It's way too stable. That's the case. We're probably going to start wrapping things up around midnight here so I can get some shut eye. Actually have a pretty decent day tomorrow instead of sleeping into the afternoon. Because man, these showers are struggling bad. The real-time models that Como, Cairo, King 5 use are pretty much dead on with their predictions via future track. We don't have any new advisories or products from NWS Seattle, so I think they're just going to let this one ride. Really, outside of just some heavier showers from Yelm up towards the Gig Harbor, that's really about it. Yeah, I believe we just had some areas that got lucky earlier around the Puget Sound, and that's about it. A lot of people, like me, for example, just completely missed out. I guess we'll see if I eat my words in the morning and get woken up by thunder, but I'm not counting on it. The confidence in this forecast is dropping as time goes on. As see, we're running out of instability even over areas where we get the most orographic enhanced lift, which again, as a review, is lift created by mountains and hills and so on. So it's what really helps get storms going over the mountain peaks. And the instability even up there is beginning to run out, so these storms are beginning to collapse in on themselves. Still a few areas of development over the Willamette River Valley and the foothills off to the east, but there's not a lot going in that aspect. They're struggling big time, even down there. A lot of this lightning down here is old. Some of it's newer, but a lot of it's old, and we're going to see a lot of this disappear off the map here real quickly. Yeah, that one shower that was moving in the Packwood behind the other one, that one is pretty much history. See, history. This one looks okay over Morton on the Langley Hill radar site. It's still not producing any lightning. It would likely just be a heavy rain, small hailer at best. Not much more than that as it moves north towards Eatonville and Graham. So what do you say, folks? Do you think we should start winding it down? Don't let the sugar ants bite. All right, Drew, take it easy. Thank you for tuning in. Urki says, thank you, sir. Going to bed. Sounds good. Have a great night. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's after hours coverage. Yeah, I think we've definitely gone over the apex on this event, as far as I can tell. Good time to wrap it up too, because yeah, my throat hurts. Well, most of you guys have left on Facebook. We still surprisingly have 41 people on YouTube. It's pretty crazy. We usually, at this time, we usually don't have more than like 15 people at a time. Heck, even most of the streams when there's no active weather, we really only have about 20 people at most. Even when I say that, half the time when we do have active weather, we only have like probably around 25 to 30 people at a time. Unless like the real prolific events like the December flooding where we had hundreds. But 44 people at almost midnight is still pretty impressive. I'm not going to lie. Very, very impressive. Yeah, we have a new European coming off the press. Yeah, the Europeans trending weaker with the shower activity overnight also. Let's see what it shows for wind. Still showing pretty strong winds over the Puget Sound area. Around 40-mile-per-hour gusts between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. tomorrow, with stronger gusts north of Sequim and Port Angeles over the strait. So it could be a pretty blustery day around the Sound tomorrow afternoon in particular. Slime says, sad we didn't get storms, but thank you for your coverage. Yeah, sure thing. Some of us got lucky tonight, but a lot of us are sleeping disappointed, falling asleep disappointed. As we know, with things of this nature, it's just the way it is. Around here, it is what it is. We just hit the 3-hour marker on the stream. Yeah, that instability is getting weaker by the minute. Still have pretty unstable air mass here over eastern Washington and northeastern Oregon. But again, that really the only storm there has already outran the axis of greatest instability. Yeah, the instability is just decreasing as the night goes on. So these storms over Oregon are likely going to run out of steam here in the next couple of hours unless something turns around quick. Still, nonetheless, pretty heavy shower moving over Roy and Yelm up towards Fort Lewis, DuPont, and Steilacoom. It was fun while it lasted, right? Yeah, the nearest lightning strikes are all the way down by Mount Adams now, so. I think we had some new lightning strikes near Salem, though. It appears that we do. Maybe something's trying to get going here near Lincoln City. Kind of looks like it. Not much instability to work with, but Looks like a line's trying to fire off here along the Oregon coast. I don't think it's going to amount to very much though, but yeah. All right, guys, it's the 11:42. I think that's going to wrap it up for today's coverage. Before I wrap things up for good, though, if you guys would like to send a last-minute donation to help out Puget Sound Stormwatch in the future, best way again to do it would be through ko-fi.com/Puget Sound Stormwatch. I have it pinned in the YouTube and Facebook comments, and you can find it in the lower right corner of the stream. It says support us at ko-fi.com/Puget Sound Stormwatch. So thank you guys for your generosity. Would really appreciate that. Of course, you don't have to. No problem at all. But you'll get a shout out from me if you do. So I think that's the end of it, at least for tonight, that I can see. I don't see really anything picking up with lackluster instability over the area. One last radar check. Yeah, Sonia, have a great night. Thank you for moderating again. Appreciate it. It's something trying to pop up here near, what's that, Lillywop area? No, I think this is Lillywop. It's between Lillywop and Brennan. Little showers trying to pop up there, but I think it's going to do next to nothing. One last check up on the comments, and then we're going to wrap it up. Yep, like Sonia said, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I'm going to hit the hay because probably going to be another busy weather day tomorrow with some rain and wind. Not as exciting with thunderstorm potential. Like tonight and tomorrow morning, that's likely going to be it. But once again, thank you all for tuning in to late night coverage here on Puget Sound Stormwatch. This is Anthony with Puget Sound Stormwatch on Facebook, YouTube, and other social media platforms around the web. Appreciate you guys for hanging around even while I'm yapping. So, hope to do streams like this more often, trying to get myself back into the groove. As my mental health begins to improve over time, I think the motivation to do this full time again will begin to return. And maybe we can turn things around. So have a great night, folks. Who knows, maybe if we're lucky, the models will bust and we'll wake up to a prolific thunderstorm outbreak around Western Washington tomorrow morning. But I still have my doubts, so. Take care, everyone. Have a great night.